Hello, my name is Janice McCarty, and I have been asked to make a video about this page that I did in my Bible on a piece of vellum. And I'm not sure if they wanted to know how to do the colored pencil techniques or how to put the vellum into the Bible. So I'm going to make two videos, one about colored pencil and one about vellum. This was a design that I did, and it was inspired by Susan Gazinski on one of the Bible journaling Facebook pages, and I want to give her credit for it. I took her design, I changed it a little bit, added a cross to it. She did give me permission to use her beautiful work as an inspiration. Thank you, Susan. Now I'm going to show you how to use Prismacolor colored pencils to shade like this. I am going to do a piece of red ribbon. It has several values in it. Value is the word that we use for the lightness and darkness of colors. I am an art teacher, high school art teacher, and I also teach Bible journaling at my church. I've used colored pencils for many years, and I've tried all kinds of colored pencils, and my favorite are the Prismacolor colored pencils. When you buy Prismacolor colored pencils, they have a name in French and a name in English and a number on them. I suggest that when you sharpen your pencils that you sharpen them on the other end, so as it gets smaller you'll have the name of this if you need to replace it. Prismacolor colored pencils are my favorite because they've got a lot of pigment in this, we call it the lead, but it's not really lead. In the part that you mark with, pigment is the material or the matter that they put in the pencil to give it color, and the more pigment it has in it, the better the color. It also has wax and clay, I believe, in it, and it makes it nice and creamy and easy to blend. Prismacolor pencils are a little bit pricey. You may not be able to feel like you want to pay this much for them in the beginning if you're first starting to use colored pencils. So I just wanted to show you that you can use Crayola colored pencils. A box of 12 of these are $2.99. They do come in larger sets. And this is the one I did with these are the ones I did with Prismacolor colored pencils, and this is the one that I did with Crayola colored pencils. You can see it's a little bit harder to blend, but it still looks pretty good and is a great place to start without investing a lot of money. I'm going to show you how to go from dark to light, and I suggest that you practice this. Don't try to do it on your Bible or your vellum the first time, but play with, get a plain piece of paper and practice this technique until you get to where you can blend it. Our goal is to blend so that it changes from one value to another without a hard line. One value to another without a hard line. I've got a little bit of a hard line here on the Crayola because it didn't blend quite as nicely as I wanted it to, but it still isn't bad at all. What I'm going to do, on this one, I've already drawn out a piece of a ribbon, and I drew it with a 2H pencil. I like 2H because it draws lighter, and I don't know if you can see this in the video or not, but I'm going to go in here and I'm going to use a kneaded eraser. It looks like silly putty. You might even be able to use silly putty. I'm going to take that and I'm going to lighten my pencil line just a little bit. I can still see it. You may not be able to see it, but at least most of the pencil lines are gone. I can see pencil line up here where I did not erase. I still could go back in and erase. But I won't take the time to do all that now. Or you can just blend it in. Sometimes you can just hit your colored pencil with the pencil, hit the pencil line with the colored pencil, and it'll blend in. Now I'm going to start, and anytime you're doing a three-dimensional object, this is a three-dimensional object. It's an illusion of a three-dimensional object. It looks like ribbon that goes over and under and around and back and comes in and out. And the part that comes out the most on this particular design is the lightest, and the part that goes back behind, or the ribbon that's curving around this way, is the darkest part. So if you're doing this, you want to make sure that you keep the lights all in the same place because the light is hitting the part of the ribbon that's bumping out. Okay, so I'm going to start with the lightest part, and when I was practicing a minute ago, I noticed that my white colored pencil had a little bit of red on the end, and I don't want that in the beginning, so I'm just going to go up here and color on a piece of paper until I get rid of it, or I could sharpen it. Now, one of the things that I always make sure of when I'm using colored pencils is I don't want a real sharp point, For one thing, it wastes the color, the Prismacolor colored pencils that are pretty expensive, and the minute you hit it with a sharp point, it's going to fall off anyway. But I don't know if you can see this, but I do like for this to have a little bit of a flat edge on it, so that when I color, it lays down a flat, fat line. I'm going to put some white on here first. You probably can't see that because that's going to be my lightest spot right there, and I might even leave some of it white, and I may not. I'm using 3 values of red. I'm using, this red is called Poppy Red. This red is called Crimson Red. That's my medium one. My Poppy's the lightest one. And my Tuscan Red, it really looks like a brown. And when you buy a set of Prismacolors, you may not even notice that it's red. It says Tuscan Red. I love this color and I use it a lot. And it's a dark red and will help me get some of the darks over there. Now, this is the technique that we want to master when we are coloring with colored pencils. It's the amount of pressure that you put on the pencil. I'm going to press down real hard, and it puts on a heavy waxy layer of colored pencil, but then very lightly, a little at a time, I'm going to put less and less pressure on it until I can go out to almost nothing. And that's something that you probably could sit and practice, because we notice that I don't have any hard lines in there where it changes from dark to light. You can change values of a color by the amount of pressure that you put on your pencil, or by adding darker colors. And I'm going to use both techniques. My white is right here, so I'm going to take my Poppy Red, and I want to make it go over into that white in such a way that it disappears. And then as I go over here, I'm going to take it out to the end. One of the things I do with colored pencils is I'll layer up colors. Now, as I color, you can also see that there are a lot of white bumps here. In my coloring, I'm coloring small strokes. This is the way I want to color. Small, short strokes. Sometimes you can even color round strokes like that. What you don't want is stringy things like that, because a lot of times if you press down hard and make stringy pieces, they won't blend together and will look a little bit like this over here. And I'm even seeing some here that I did with a Prismacolor, but I could actually work that out. So I'm taking small strokes, a medium amount of pressure. This is going to be darker over here, so I'm going to press down a little bit harder. And I'm going to do the same thing. I can't see where my white is. I'm going to do my same thing over on this side. Taking that out to nothing over here, into the white. And this is a matter of just going back and forth with different colors. Now over here, I'm going to use this medium red, press a little bit harder on this, and I'll come back and put even more layers on all of this. But as I take it over to the lighter red color, I'm blending it together. I'm actually kind of mixing those two colors together like that. And you can't see where one ends and the other begins. And I'm going to go ahead and take this medium red over here to the very end. I'm going to put some right over here. Press down. Lighter, lighter, lighter. Now I'm going to go back and work on blending these together. I am seeing a little bit of a definite edge there. Now at this point in time, I'm going to go back and I'm going to take my white. Now white actually works as a blending tool too. I don't want to put white over the whole thing because it will lighten all the colors. But you can see now that I'm pressing harder. I have a very definite light there. And I'm taking the white, just like I did the other colors, and I'm very gradually letting it go out to nothing. I'm going to take a little bit more of the Poppy Red. This is that lighter red. I'm going to blend the edge a little bit more. One of the things that you have to be careful of in the very beginning is that you don't blend too much. My students in high school, when I'm first teaching them to blend colors or regular pencils, sometimes they overblend so that everything ends up being one medium tone rather than lots of different values. Now I'm putting this is the Crimson Red. It's not the darkest, but it's more of a medium red. And I'm pressing down a little bit heavy on this outside edge, and then I'm taking it out, letting it run out to nothing. And as I build up layers, these little white pieces in my paper start to fade away, start to get filled up with color actually. Now I'm taking the medium color and blending. What I did, the light poppy red color, and I'm blending. Usually I use the lighter color, whatever lighter color is in that area. Over here it was the white was the lightest color, so I blended with the white over here, over this, and that poppy red, and then over here I had the poppy red and the crimson, and I mixed those two together, and then I kind of blended the edge with the poppy red because it was the lightest. And I'll show you. Now I'm going to use this Tuscan red, which is the dark red, so kind of a brown red, blood red. I'm going to press down heavy over here. Now every paper is different. Some papers take colored pencil beautifully. There gets to be a point where it won't take any more layers. The paper has tooth. It's the texture of the paper, and there's a certain amount of layers it'll take, and every tooth is different. Once you get to the point where it won't take any more layers, no matter what you do, you can't add any more color to it. Now I'm just adding this dark over here. I'm pressing down hard down here, and then I'm going out here and blending it out. And then I'm going to take the lightest color that I used in this area, which is the crimson, and I'm going to blend that. Now that looks pretty good, just like it is. If I wanted to go darker like that, I could pick up a black, and I have to be real careful with black. It's very intense. I'm just putting a little bit of really dark, well, I'm not going to do that. It's really dark. And then I never leave black alone because it's too flat. I'm going to add some of that crimson, the Tuscan red right on top of it. I could have added the crimson on top of it and make that dark. You don't have to use black. It's not the only color that you can use to use as a dark. This one is an indigo blue, a dark blue violet, even a dark green could work. Any dark color. I'm going to show you that the indigo looks real good too. And I'll go back over. I'm going to go over this one with the crimson rather than the Tuscan. And now we have values. And notice that it probably should work on that a little bit more. We don't have any hard edges. It's very softly changing from dark to medium to light to very light to medium to dark. And that's what your goal is, to get a gradual change. I wanted to show you this one and this one. This is Prismacolor colored pencil, and this is Crayola. On this one, I only used one red. I used white and black. So if you don't have a lot of colors, that's okay too. You can make lots of different values. That still looks good. And this one is the Crayola. It's not quite, the colors aren't quite as bright and vivid as the Prismacolor, but it works really well. Prismacolor makes a colorless blender. It's just, I'm not sure what's in it. It's just kind of feels like vinyl or something on the tip, and it doesn't put down any color, but it will blend your colors together. I've used this one recently. It's got red on it, so I'm going to clean that off. Some people use the blending stick and some don't. I don't know if other companies make these, but this one is a Prismacolor, and one of the things that it does is it will, watch and see how this changes when I go over it with the blending stick. It kind of melts the colors together, makes them a little more intense. You have to be careful with this blending stick because you very easily could blend it all together so that it looks the same. I'm going to go over here and do this piece. You can see how it changes, and it intensifies the colors, and the lights disappear kind of quickly, so you have to be careful and not overuse this. I'm going to also go right here and blend this together. Now be very careful when you're blending up here in the light. I'll clean that off. A piece of sandpaper is good for cleaning that off too. I'm going to start in the light, move the light out to the dark. Because what would happen if I blended from the dark into the light, it would cover up our nice light. But sometimes when you've got a lot of tooth in your paper and there's too much white paper showing, it will cover that up. And that's about it for Prismacolor colored pencils. I did this on Vellum. The Vellum takes the colored pencil beautifully. This is I got from the scrapbook section of Michael's. This nice Vellum. It's hard to find because it's that little slot where they keep this is usually pretty empty. Stamping Up also sells a package of Vellum. I've ordered some and it isn't in yet, but I'm anxious to try it. So I'm going to put all my information at the end of this video if you need to contact me and ask me any questions. This is I did this on John 4:7 through the end of the chapter. It's about how God loved us first, and that's what this symbol represents. Because he loved us first, we know how to love as Christians. He's taught us how to love. Beautiful chapter. Beautiful way to illustrate this chapter. Good luck. Thanks for watching.